All right, welcome to Faithology and Christology, where we're building faith and destroying doubt. I am Mark Nathaniel Skelton. I am your teacher and host, and today we're talking about an amazing archaeological discovery that helps to prove the integrity of the Holy Scriptures. You know, there's a saying that goes that every time that a shovel goes into the ground, another skeptic is buried. And that's today's aim as I introduce to you today's topic, the Pilate Stone. Have you heard of the Pontius Pilate Inscription? Let me tell you a little bit about it. Now, the Pilate Stone was discovered at the archaeological site of Caesarea Maritima in 1961, modern-day Israel. Now, what's fascinating about this particular artifact is that it is an authentic first century Roman inscription that mentions the name of Pontius Pilate. Now I know what you're thinking. What does that got to do with the price of tea in China? Well, let me tell you, for centuries, there was no tangible proof of this individual, but now, since this discovery, there is actual historical evidence for the existence of the person, Pontius Pilate, which is wonderful because this supports the biblical account within the Word of God. All right? Now, who is Pontius Pilate? I'm going to give you a little background and build up to the stone. Who's Pontius Pilate? What difference does it make? Who cares if he existed, right? What's the point of knowing that he existed?
First, we'll deal with the rubbish.
Pilate, there's a delegation from the Sanhedrin waiting outside. It is led by Zera himself. They have this preacher, this Jesus of Nazareth with them. They want you to judge him.
Judge him? Sarah himself? That must be important. No. I don't want to get involved in their religious quarrels.
Pontius Pilate is mentioned over 50 times in the New Testament scriptures. He's mentioned in all the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And he's mentioned in the book of Acts, as well as mentioned in the first epistle of Paul the Apostle to Timothy. Now, Pilate, as you all know, is well known for his role in the trial and the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. And within the Gospels, Gospel of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, he is seen as an individual that's trying to, get Jesus Christ off the hook from his fate of being executed, but then he folds to the pressure that's given to him by the religious Jewish leaders of that day, and then he tries to detach himself from personal responsibility from this event. Now you can read about it in the Gospel Matthew 27 verse 24, the Gospel of Mark chapter 15 verses 1 through 19, the Gospel of Luke chapter 23 verses 1 through 25, and the Gospel of John chapter 18 verses 28 and through chapter 19 verses 1 through 16. This is where you can read about Pilate. Once you realize he's a real person, though, it gives a whole new meaning when you read it over and you actually see him struggling internally with this idea of, wow, I got to crucify and hand this person over who rightfully doesn't deserve this punishment. And so, specific for today's talk, we want to talk about Pontius Pilate's position. See, Pilate was a governor in the Roman Republic and Empire in the area of Judea. Notice what Luke 3:1 states. Now, in the 15th year of the reign of Tiberius Caesar, Pontius Pilate, being the governor or prefect of Judea. All right, this parallels historical accounts stating that Pontius Pilate, one source says, was the 5th prefect of the Roman province of Judea, serving under Empress Tiberius around the years 26 AD to 36 AD, the time when Jesus Christ lived. Now, the prefect was kind of like a district manager for a company. He's over this certain region, and he was responsible for military, civil, criminal affairs. He was appointed by Tiberius Caesar in 26 AD. He arrived and made his official residence in Caesarea Maritima, the Roman capital of Judea. And I'll give all the resources at the end of the video. So the governor or the prefects had the responsibility to report to the emperor, to handle financial matters, civil affairs, military, and criminal jurisdictions, as we can see with the situation with the religious leaders bringing Jesus Christ to him. There's other Jewish literature, such as, I know we've all heard of Josephus and Philo of Alexander. They give accounts of this individual Pontius Pilate and report that he repeatedly caused near insurrections among the Jews because of his insensitivity to the Jewish customs. Now, what these accounts establish, the New Testament sources, Josephus, Philo, in addition to some less reliable legends and traditions, they establish, however, that they agree that he was the governor of Rome, that he lived in Judea, and that he breathed during the first century. But I know what you're asking. Is this fact? Is this fable? Is this reliable? You know, people always talking about, oh, are the people and the story in the Bible's true? Or are they fairy tales? No. Okay, they're not fairy tales. Let's talk a little bit about the discovery of Pilate's inscription. See, scholars and skeptics alike question whether a man by the name of Pontius Pilate ever existed, but at this discovery, all these questions was laid to rest. The limestone block was discovered in June 1961 by Italian archaeologists led by Dr. Antonio Frova while excavating in the area of an ancient theater built by decree of Herod the Great, along with the city of Caesarea. Now listen, Antonio Frova was the director of the Italian archaeologist mission in Israel, where he excavated the Herodian theater and found the famous Pilate inscription bearing the name Pontius Pilate. Now, the artifact is a fragment of a decantatory inscription, probably for a temple and possibly in honor of Tiberius. And the artifact is the stone actually was reused in the 4th century, so hundreds of years later, as a building block. Listen, it was a building block for a set of stairs belonging to a structure erected behind the stage house of this theater. And it was discovered there, still attached to the ancient staircase by the archaeologists. So it was like a coincidence or accidental find, right? The theater is located in the town that is called Caesarea Maritima in the present day city of Caesarea on the sea, also called Maritima. Okay, so let me give you a little details about this particular stone. The stone it's a limestone stone. It's 82 centimeters high, so it's a little over 2.5 feet tall. It's 65 centimeters wide, so a little over 2 feet wide. And it was used for a building dedication, and it was inscribed with 4 lines. Now, this is the part that's shocking. The lines are in Latin, but when you translate the Latin to English, the inscription reads, "To the divine Augusti Tiberia, Pontius Pilate, prefect of Judea, has dedicated this." Wow, now listen again. Luke 3:1. Now in the 15th year of the reign of Tiberius Caesar, Pontius Pilate, being the governor, the prefect of Judea. The inscription is now at the Israeli Museum at Jerusalem and is the only epigraphical evidence of the existence of Pontius Pilate. Now look at those wonderful parallels. It explains that he dedicated to Caesar, which is talked about in the Bible. Pontius Pilate, he's talked about in the Bible. His position as governor, which is talked about in the Bible, and the land of Judea, which is talked about in the land of the Bible. Now, how does this support the biblical account? Well, this evidence gives us confidence that the places and the people mentioned in the Bible are actually accurate. Okay, there was a man by the name of Pontius Pilate. He was in the position to hand Jesus Christ over to be crucified, which is so instrumental to the gospel message of the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. He played a role in that. He played a role in the death of Jesus, which led to the burial of Jesus, which led to the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Amen. And listen, next, it gives us confidence that the biblical accounts have not changed over the centuries. Everybody talking about the Bible's changing. And no, the only thing that needs to change is the way you think, and that the scriptures are true. Listen to what Deuteronomy states, 30:19. I call heaven and earth to record, heaven and earth, to record this day against you, that I've set before you life and death, blessings and cursing, and choose life so that you and your seed after you may be blessed. Okay? God he's given the earth as a witness. You know, the trees, he's given archaeological evidence, the sun and the moon, to prove to you that this message is true. And now if this is true, what's true is what's next coming is that Christ will return for his church and for his people that are looking for him. And I'm telling you, that gives us confidence that everything that the Lord speaks will be fulfilled in its time. It's true. What else could be true? It's all awesome and it's all good. And I'm just encouraging you to give the Bible another look. If you have any other questions, we're just scratching the surface. There's tons of stories. There's tons of archaeological evidence that needs to be revealed to us as the people. And if you got any questions, I'll put my information at the end. You can send me, don't forget to subscribe. Leave a response, ask me a question, and until next time, God bless you all. Peace.